Share, yeah, right here. And shout it out.
We as a nation have recognized our own natural resources being consumed irresponsibly and have taken action having the foresight to recognize the impact of overconsumption and poor waste management was having on current resources and the environment. The EU and others have taken steps internationally, yet more can be done. The U.S. must rejoin our European allies in the preservation of world resources and aid developing countries in adapting responsible consumption and environmental policies.
Another example, I think we got one in the back.
Since the beginning of this century, our nation has used lone cowboy politics. Our trigger-happy tendencies and willingness to shoot first and ask questions later have alienated us from our valued friends and increased hatred among our enemies. We must become a global team player, striving to fulfill our promise we once made to become a beacon of hope to the poor and oppressed people of the world.
Other examples that people want to share? Yeah, right here. Right here. Great, stand on that.
We have always preached unity. It is unity that allowed 50 tiny states to become the most powerful collective of hearts, minds, hands, and eyes in the world. One of these states alone could never have achieved what the entire country has since its birth. Likewise, our nation will never achieve as much as the unity of many other bodies of hearts, minds, hands, and eyes can and will. We must embrace multilateral operation in our new age of danger as well as hope.
Other examples that people want to share? All right, great, right here.
Our ability to create new and innovative discoveries in science and technology are second to no one. Our creativity to find and create markets for goods and services lead the world. Our philosophies and ideas regarding freedom, liberty, and democracy influence many world leaders. Recently, however, we have used our technical skills to increase our military's influence and strength, rather than to solve the global problems whose symptoms are terrorism. We have used markets to encourage trade that helps those with power and money rather than to help those who are less fortunate. Our ideals, instead of influencing others, we have forced our ideas and philosophies to occupy nations. We must overcome these hindrances to become the world leader again.
So just to take that example, which I think was a great one, it talked about all of these strengths that we have. Leading in science and technology, building incredible marketplaces, and also having amazing ideas like freedom that have germinated. And then he, after talking about those successes, talks about how recently we've been allowing the science and technology to go for bombs and not, better products around the world for everyday people, how we've used markets to make the rich richer, and how we've also had our ideas imposed rather than inspired. I mean, how many people think that's an effective communication technique? Great, because it affirms that we are, really a bright and influential country, which is true. But then it also talks about how a lot of those, can be misused and go actually sort of negative, so it's kind of redirected. So that was excellent excellent stock taking. Any other examples people want to shout out? One more. All right, so let's move on to the next step. We're going to skip over a little bit just because of time. So we've kind of talked about guiding principles for a better approach already in your introductions. We've also talked a lot about peace and security. So what I want to do is I want to get to the initiatives. And the initiatives seek to put your foreign policy principles to work on important global challenges. And so we've had a lot of kind of values thrown out there. We've heard about some successes and some failures. And now the question is, as the leader, what is the new direction specifically that you want to take the country down? So do you want to invest in clean energy through these programs that are aimed at electric power and that are aimed at nuclear power, or that are aimed at redesigning our fields from agriculture to energy? Do you want to lead by example to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons, which would mean that we would actually reduce our weapons and then hold others to account at the same time? Do you want to fight global warming as a world community? Do you want to put values into action before horrible crimes like genocide occur? That would mean that you'd set up a specific system in the UN for the responsibility to protect that would actually act sooner, before we declared it a genocide. Do you want to empower citizens for their own global futures through a new education policy? Those are just a few different ideas. As you go forward in thinking about the initiatives that you want to put out there, I'll ask you to stop and think. You want to inspire people with your initiatives, but not overpromise. This is about doing everything we can to make things better, not about eliminating problems altogether. Reassure people that we can take concrete steps every day toward long-term solutions, but not that the problem will be solved overnight. So those are some ideas to hopefully inspire your specific initiatives. So we'll take a few minutes now, draft the specific things that you'd like the country to undertake, and we'll hear about your examples in a moment. I'm ready to scream out, I'm not ready! All right, good. We'll start. It's all about how you frame the questions, right? So we are on initiatives, and we want to hear your examples. Who wants to share the great ideas that they have for our country's future? All right here, the guy who wanted more time. See, this is why he needed it.
Every generation, our great nation has risen up to any challenge that has faced us, and ours will be no different. It is my pledge that America will lead by example to inspire other nations to stand up as well to face the problems of our world. We will reduce our nuclear arsenal because we cannot ask others to do the same while we increase ours. We shall, at the same time, ask other nations to not even create terrific weapons in the first place. At the same time, we shall take steps to follow the Kyoto Treaty more stringently, as the environment belongs to everyone and must be protected. We shall also work harder than ever to fight disease around the world, as disease knows no boundaries and cares not who its victims are. As a nation, we will try to lead others by our example. We shall work with our neighbors to make the world a better place for us all.
Right. Others want to share their examples? Great, right here. And shout it out.
Okay. The United States, in collaboration with the United Nations, will work to eliminate not only terrorist organizations, but the root socioeconomic causes of terrorism itself. America will begin by ratifying the Declaration on the Rights of the Child and the optional protocol regarding children in armed conflict situations. We will lead the world in disarmament and rehabilitation of former child soldiers. America must work to end poverty and hunger throughout the world if we are to eliminate terrorism. I urge citizens to think of those less fortunate than themselves as Congress works simultaneously to send more aid to the least economically developed nations. This aid will not, however, be more money in the pot, but rather smarter and better managed money.
Others want to throw out their examples. All right, great.